It's truly something demonic, if you want my opinion on this. Abortion, now legal and protected there at all stages of pregnancy. Look, if we're not going to call Governor Healy, who is a Catholic, mind you, out on this, if we're not going to try and make this a big deal, then what the heck are we doing as a country? We need to wake up. I'm not just talking about one little story here. Oh, hey, this happened, and then we're just going to move along, and well, that's the way it is here in the United States. That cannot be the reaction with this one. This is what I really want to talk about tonight. Might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable, but for anyone who participated in putting those people in office that made this happen, I hope you let this sink in. These unborn babies, they do feel pain. According to the American College of Pediatrics, laboratory evidence and clinical practice during fetal surgery suggests that as early as 15 weeks gestation, noxious stimulation negatively affects immature human beings, and meaning they feel pain. That's what's happening. Little babies. Imagine what they're going to feel when they're 7 or 8 or 9 months along. Also, the procedure, see, no one wants to talk about this. In the reality of late-term abortion procedures, these particularly gruesome surgical techniques involve crushing, dismemberment, and removal of a fetal body from a woman's uterus mere weeks before or even after the fetus reaches a developmental age of potential viability outside of the mother. But that's just really, everyone, the Cliff Notes version of what happens during late-term abortions. Really didn't have the stomach tonight to write out the procedures, what they really entail. You look it all up in line, couldn't do it. It is legal murder of a little baby in the womb. They have to stop the heartbeat with an injection. That is part of that. Read that tonight. Again, really tough to talk about here, but the reason I'm bringing this up is because you got to put this all into perspective, where we're going as a country.
Thank you.
It's that. It is those people cheering what these people just signed into law protecting. For the longest time, conservatives, we have pushed back against this practice, the whole practice of having an abortion in general, really, but especially against late-term abortions. And like always, like when our borders, they were left wide open, or when we found out illegals, they were in fact voting, like we recently discovered in New Jersey, like the fraud in Minnesota, the left said, oh no, that's not really happening, until it became undeniable. Just like in this instance, they said, oh no, late-term abortions aren't really a thing, it's just a talking point for the right. They just use it to scare you. But in reality, they clearly wanted this to happen all along.
As it relates to getting into the debate around late-term abortion, that's a complete canard.
No one supports abortion up until birth. I wrote that because there is a pervasive and misleading talking point that is used by a number of right-wing leaders, including presidential candidates on the stage, suggesting that Democrats are advocating for and even rooting for late-term abortions of babies who could live outside the womb.
The phrase late-term abortions, which is not accurate. 15 weeks is not a late-term abortion, and it should not be used because it's actually a made-up term.
Definitely not made up. Now you have Massachusetts protecting it, and you may or may not know this. There are actually 10 states now, along with Washington, D.C., that allow this to go on. Look at that. And now with that being said, I could go on this big rant under Maura Haley's leadership. How dare she? She's Catholic. She's putting everyone else that shouldn't be getting any kind of help at all above the well-being of children. And yes, an unborn child is a child. It's not a fetus. That word is an attempt on the left to dumb down the grave situation at hand. You could go on about how her state caters to illegals, doesn't cooperate with ICE, everything, etc. It is the typical blue state Democratic Party line behavior. And a lot of people online are posting about that. She chose to tackle late-term abortions over the other issues of the people of Massachusetts that they face. But I don't want the focus from the topic at hand to be shifted. This new law is like ironclad to perform late-term abortions.
It protects the privacy and the safety of those seeking reproductive care, gender-affirming care, and also those providing the care. It protects them here in Massachusetts, and it protects them against attacks coming from outside of our state. No one is going to come to Massachusetts and attack our people, attack our institutions, attack our providers.
What also stands out to me is this isn't even a popular issue with Americans, and thank God. Gallup, they've done the polling on this, and most polling says pretty much the same thing. After you get into late-term abortions, the polling absolutely plummets here. They write majorities opposed abortion being legal in the second at 55% and the third 70% trimesters. Drops down to 70% when you get into the third trimester.